Awesome. AI, transforming how we connect with customers. And I'd love to go ahead and bring to the stage our amazing speakers for today, Gina and Joe. Please join me on camera. So first we have Gina Whitty, Director of Product Management at GoTo. Gina has a lot of experience leading product strategies, and she will talk about AI and how it's helping improve the customer experience. Joining her, we have Joe Walsh, our Vice President of Product Marketing at GoTo. Joe will share how AI is helping customers today and how GoTo is making AI tools simple and accessible for everyone. We're super excited to have them both with us today. So, with that, Jean and Joe, would you like to introduce yourselves to the audience?
Sure thing. Thank you, Danielle. So as you mentioned, I'm Gina Whitty here. I've been in the customer experience industry for a little over 10 years. So it's been a fun journey and it's fast and evolving. And I just absolutely love how I've been able to bring that experience to GoTo here over the last few years. And I work very closely with Joe, which has also been a fun time. So tell us about yourself, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Gina, and thanks for the intros, Danny. Appreciate it. My name is Joe. I've been with GoTo for just nearly 6 years now. I do have an accent. I'm based in Dublin, in Ireland, but working all the time in North America with my colleagues over there. So Gina and I are really excited to talk about AI, what we're seeing in the market, what we're seeing at GoTo, and what we see with our customers, and hopefully we can share some lessons and learnings for you guys over the next 25, 30 minutes or so. So without any more hesitation, Danny, I think we'll kick off and go into the agenda for the day.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. So yeah, guys, just we'll punch on a little bit, right? The critical role of AI in modern business, and I'm sure you're all aware of that, and that's why you've kind of chosen to be here today. We'll touch on that. Then we'll dive a bit deeper into actually shaping future of customer experiences with AI. That's what we're going to focus on in terms of the main use case today. And then we'll show you a little bit of what that looks like in reality, okay? What those tools can be, how they can be used, and how quickly you can get set up on that. There is a bit of a kind of a misperception out there from people that often they think AI can be expensive or requires big tech budgets and tech resources to roll out, but that's not the case. Modern software these days can be pretty simple and straightforward to get set up, and we'll hopefully show that over the course of the next 25, 30 minutes as well. Okay, so let's jump into that. Gina, you feel free to keep me honest across the talk track, right? Jump in whenever you want
Always
and
do.
provide some content, but we do just have a couple of stats to kick off from our research partners, Metrigy. Metrigy have been partners for ours for a while in this space. We dive into a number of different topics, including AI, but they've done some recent research, AI for business, looking at 2025 and what's to come in 2026. And look, it's pretty clear, some big standout figures from it. 80% believe AI will improve performance within the next year. 67% believe AI brings significant value to the company. And 70% of companies using AI do so for customer interactions, right? So a lot of people beginning to dip their toe in the AI world and seeing some real positive benefits to it. So as we go through this deck, be mindful that still the majority of companies are not using AI widely or extensively across the organization. They're still trialing, they're still doing it in silos, seeing what's working best. So don't feel like you're being left behind if you haven't started, but it is important. You do need to get started, and we hope to showcase that over the course of the next 25, 30 minutes. Just to start with that, and Gina, feel free to jump in with any areas that you think as well are important. But first of all, just outside customer experience, right? Just where is AI beginning to penetrate businesses? And this is something I had a bit of a ding dong with my boss, Peter Mahoney, our chief commercial officer here. I wouldn't say a disagreement on the impact AI was going to have in the industry, but more how it kind of gets rolled out. And for me, you won't leave your office or leave your business on a Friday at 5 o'clock and come back on a Monday and all of a sudden it's AI powered and everything's AI and you've made that switch. That might have happened with the cloud, going from on-premise deployments to cloud. It's not going to happen with AI. AI is going to be, a number of different projects in different departments where people start using different tools for different use cases, and soon you'll find it kind of just gradually encompassing your business and kind of taking it over, right? And if we look at just ourselves, right, and other common use cases, AI and content creation and optimization, this is where my world is getting rocked from a product marketing standpoint, right? Copywriting is now through AI tools, developing, simple content like PDFs and even some video editing now in AI tools. And we're beginning to see it more if we go into like procuring media when we're doing some advertising as well. So things like that, we're seeing AI begin to infiltrate on the product marketing side. In around sales and lead management, businesses are using AI to identify potential leads, to use tools to automate outreach or even personalize outreach. So a lot of AI available for those use cases. Anybody in inventory management, right? Again, predictive analytics, which will look at market trends, look at historical data, and will make sure your stock is and your inventory is replenished as the market deems fit. So you're there, and it gives you good optimal kind of moments and saves costs some from being oversupplied at times. So that's been done. Simple things about reducing automation, repetitive tasks. This is one for us day to day. We use our simple things that I use more. It's helping me boost my admin skills a little bit. Certainly tracking notes and sharing them after meetings is something we use all the time now in our meeting platforms. That's there. So you see a lot more of that, particularly in data entry coming into play. HR using AI to screen CVs, to help write job specs, to screen candidates initially. So again, some nice use cases and tools for that. In the CRM platforms, making sure that people can be scored, their intent can be analyzed, and then even things like expense tracking, invoicing, bookkeeping in AI as well. So loads of different applications, loads of different use cases of AI. Again, all really kind of the responsibility of leaders within those areas of a business to start embracing AI and bring it together. And that for us is why we're going to go in and talk a bit more about customer experience, hoping that you guys are all in that space and looking to do more customer experience. But Gina, before we go into that, anything else to add on where you're seeing AI commonly deployed?
Oh, it honestly, it surprises me the use cases that our customers have been coming up with. I mean, what I love about the Metrigy study too is that it validates a lot of what we're seeing, across our businesses, right? Like customers come from many different industries and think they have very specific use cases that we can help solve for, but it's really the convergence of a lot of the different use cases where they're seeing success as well, right? And it just kind of the momentum has been gaining, right? So getting their foot in the door has been really helpful, and just helping them to identify these use cases and adopt the technologies really in a gradual phased approach has been very helpful in demystifying the solutions, right?
Exactly, yeah, and that's because the big thing for me, Gene, I think as well is kind of seeing is believing a little bit. I heard a lot about AI before I started diving into things like Jasper AI for content writing or Google Gemini for just getting a first draft of anything and getting a starting point for a thought process. It's when you start to use it you can really understand the potential impact for it, and that's why I think then it started for me when I started using AI more in our own day-to-day work. I started understanding the kind of the gravitas of statements like this from Sam Altman, the CEO and founder of OpenAI, right? Generative AI has the potential to revolutionize nearly every industry, right? This is something that, you have to embrace it. It is just going to change how we work. And starting small and taking baby steps is the way to get started. But you need to do that. It is becoming to a stage where, again, it's okay. It's still not mass adoption across all organizations, across every use cases, but it is growing and it is a competitive advantage. If you can start adopting it sooner before everybody else, you will get things to market faster. You will have better customer experience. You will get content and propositions out faster. So it is a chance to get ahead of the competition if they're not using it. But even though with people seeing what we do see a lot, Gina, and you see this in our research as well, is that many small to mid-sized businesses still see AI as too complex, risky, or even expensive for them and their teams, right? And that's, again, something that we want to demystify a little bit today. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be cumbersome. It doesn't need to be hard to get started. It just takes the right attitude and knowing where to get started and take the right steps. So with
In
that,
fact,
Gina,
I would say if you're looking at AI solutions that are big and clunky and complex, you're probably looking at the wrong vendors, especially with the generative AI, right? It's really disrupted because AI and automation, they've been around for a while now, but there's really what generative AI has done is bring the costs to adoption down and brought really the time to value has been brought down, right? The ease in which it can be adopted has been, increased as well. So lots of tons of, opportunity and also ripe for a lot of disruption. Yeah.
yeah, and some of the things, Gene, like people may already have these AI capabilities already available to them within the existing tech stack. It could be that it can be obtained for scores of dollars a month. It doesn't have to be hundreds and thousands. So there is really kind of good, low cost, easy ways to get started. So we're going to talk about customer experience for a bit, Gina, and I just want to talk a little bit about the opportunity in customer experience. I think this is really important, right? Customer experience isn't in a good place right now. People are quite disgruntled. Forrester just did their consumer index, and I'll talk about Rick Parrish in a minute from Forrester. And there, they've seen, I think, the fourth consecutive year of disappointment with customer experience, and customer experience scores going down. And what we kind of attribute a lot of that to is that customer expectations are at an all-time high, right? We've got this in our hands, right? And it's quite easy for a consumer to get the latest and greatest technology at a relatively low cost in their hands to do their business. It's a bit more difficult for businesses to do that because it can be a bit more cumbersome. You got some processes and procedures. Security is a big risk. You need to train people on the tools they're using. So there's a training and adoption challenge. So it's created a mismatch between what consumers have in their hands and what businesses have in their hands to serve those customers. And that's causing frustration. When people see it's so easy for me in my personal life, how is it so easy? How is it so hard for you as a business with big budgets and all your teams and all your resources that you can't make it simple for me to find the information that I want, that I can't find it when I want to find it as well? So a big imbalance between businesses, their ability to meet expectations and those customer expectations. And that's what's leading to this. I mentioned Forrester, I mentioned Rick Parrish. US consumers are having, on average, the worst experiences in a decade, right? So despite all the technical innovation, despite all the new communication challenges, what we're seeing is that experience for customers, the worst it's been in a decade. It's on a slippery slope and it's getting worse as well. There is an answer to that. AI, I think, can be the answer to these customer experience woes. Gina, we've seen in research that when people deploy AI into customer experience, they can grow CSAT scores by 20%. We've seen part of growing those CSAT scores is getting better agent productivity, right? And 30% have improved agent productivity. And then overall, the big thing is you can do that and reduce costs in the process, right? With 25% of businesses say they've been able to reduce overall costs in delivering customer experience by deploying AI across the platform as well. So we talked about demystifying. We've launched Practical AI, Gina. Let's talk a bit more about that. Tell me a bit about Practical AI and what our audience can expect from that.
Yeah, so thanks. Well, I understand, that AI is all the rage, right? To us at GoTo, it's really about practical AI, as Joe is saying. So, and this is really just simply putting the customer experience at the heart of your business, right? And deploying AI technology tools that just really exist in the background, right? They help facilitate that connection, but it's not about, making it really obvious that AI is intervening in any way. So it's not about the technology for technology's sake or understanding the hype, but it's ultimately about driving the main business outcomes that we're talking about today. So we'll be talking about productivity, insights, and self-service. I know, everyone these days too is saying that they're AI powered, but what it means for GoTo really is about the productivity, the insights, the assistance are the three main value pillars that we focus on to deliver low barrier to entry AI, right? That practical AI for your business. Before breaking these concepts down, however, I do just want to touch on the approach that we take here with AI at GoTo and aiming to leverage generative AI and its ability to understand, augment, or replace human interactions. And this really advances the quality and efficiency of your customer experience, while opening the door to new opportunities that were probably previously considered cost prohibitive, right? Especially if you looked into AI and automative capabilities before generative AI. And so it's no longer the case that AI is accessible only to the enterprise, right? We're putting it into the hands of customers by delivering that practical, low barrier to entry AI without the costly implementation and maintenance price tags of the past. So yeah, we'll go into productivity here a bit more. So the fact that these solutions, are built on our single platform too, means that everything seamlessly works together without that additional management or overhead or the disjointed customer experience of like a point solution, right? Or finding a single solution just to do your post-call analytics or just to do a chatbot. And that really boosts your productivity right off the bat. So I don't need to explain necessarily why productivity is important, right? I'm sure that's why we're all here, but how do we think about it when developing our AI solutions? And we start by focusing on ease of use and a simplified platform to reduce the complexity of routine tasks, right? And then we take it a step further by leveraging automations or easily surfacing information that could otherwise be really difficult to track. When these tools are used, that boost in productivity leads to cost savings and really more time for employees to focus their attention on more complex tasks or ultimately centering the customer, right? We're seeing that businesses who have invested in AI see this payoff in productivity and are increasing their spending this year and beyond. And with automation is playing a key factor here because it's not just about what the AI services, it's also about how it's acted on that leads to those productivity advantages and cost savings, right? And especially that boost in CSAT that you spoke about earlier, Joe.
Yeah, I think we see that a little bit on the productivity side as well, not just in the customer experience side, but I referenced the meeting notes and stuff like that earlier on, Gina, that it's just a lot of it is the automation that we can put in that frees up the time to look at other things, to give a bit more time for critical thinking, problem solving. And that has a big knock-on effect as well to the work that people are doing.
Exactly. Yeah, so the second part here, insights aren't gathered when you just see raw data on a screen, right? Context, aggregation, and simplification lead to the insights that are not only inspiring, but actionable. And of the customers and partners we've interviewed, this is an important one because unveiling actionable insights is what helps customers get the return on investment of the AI solutions, right? And most of that actionability centers around solving pain points or helping their customers. So ultimately, actionable insights leads to that higher customer satisfaction.
Okay, great. And then we'll jump to the last one, which is around the assist pillar. Gina?
Yeah. Yeah, so self-service, assistance, right? It's about the ability for the customer to help themselves, which is the ultimate goal, right? Or boosting your own employee productivity or assisting their own, tasks. So deflecting calls while still providing an excellent customer experience leads to a whole host of benefits, cost savings, and that productivity piece again. So when you've got powerful technology tied together with a single platform, it makes it easier for those AI enablers to pull together information that lead to tailored, personalized experiences. The AI can know basic things about the customer name or profile information, but also more advanced information like how many times that person reached out to you recently, and then ultimately making it easier to enhance and simplify the customer journey, which leads to, again, higher satisfaction. So I hope you're able to see how these key pillars, they're not mutually exclusive, right? But very much tied together. And as long as we center the customer and employ that smart, practical AI, we can get these business outcomes that we're looking for.
Yeah, so if we're to summarize those kind of three categories, Gina, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? But we talk about productivity. That's about really trying to like automate a lot of the tedious tasks, the things that like take up people's time. That isn't maybe like critical thinking, and to just allow AI to do that to free up more time for agents to be more productive, right? And if we talk about that in the customer experience world, right, a simple use case there is I've had a call with a customer. A lot of the time people need to leave notes in the system, right? You're then down to like sales behavior and making sure that they've good hygiene and they leave the notes. We now automate all of that, right? That can be automated. That can be just inserted into CRM now. People are like, so you're freeing up time for the agent. They don't need to spend that 20, 30 seconds doing that. They can get to another customer, right? That makes them more productive. But the big benefit as well is it talks about, for supervisors, they get consistent records in the same format on every conversation and notes on every conversation that happens as well, which is really good. And that actually helps in the kind of the assist part, because then those people can actually do a better job, right? Or maybe and it also goes into the insights, right? Because it's giving better insights. So look, those pillars I think are really kind of clear to understand, right? Focusing on productivity, focusing on better insights, focusing on assisting people to get stuff done. Let's look at some of those examples in action, right? Because this is, and just for the people in the audience, right? These are tools that are like readily available today, at low cost across vendors like yourselves, but also other vendors, right? Where you can get started with AI for fairly low cost. So what we're going to do, Gina, we're going to go first to our AI receptionist video, and this is probably one of the most powerful examples, right? This allows businesses to answer every call that comes in. So no more ringing out, no more calls not getting answered, no more frustrated customers kind of on hold. This is actually something that can solve a lot of problems with simple basic queries, right? And it takes people like humans that are capable of answering much more complex challenges and solving much more complex problems. It makes it a lot easier for everybody in the process. So Danny, we're going to ask you to play the video on AI reception today so people can see this in action. Okay, Gina, talk us a little bit through that the AI receptionist and how that works, and maybe you focus on one use case because this is the one I always thought about. Is kind of going, how do you actually get the information in to the AI receptionist and see, and so they can actually answer those questions correctly?
Yeah. So most AI solutions that you'll see too, right, they're powered by that knowledge, right? So generative AI, it's got large language model technology. It comes pre-built with already a huge wealth of knowledge. But really the key is tailoring that knowledge to your business. And so in this example, lighting. And the conversation really goes on. There's a lot of different things that Luma can recommend to Dave, our caller, and others, right? But it's tapped into that contextual business knowledge by using really easy to use knowledge-based articles and solutions that are super easy for customers to pull into the system and get started with on day one. So once Luma has that information, she can start answering calls left and right and deflecting them or passing them to the appropriate salespeople. And so we launched our beta and had a number of really great use cases to work with our beta customers, and also Armando here was great at MV Transportation, right? So whether you be in retail and lighting or the transportation industry here, one of the things we solved for Armando was being able for that receptionist to quickly access that information, right? So answer frequently asked questions, the hours of operation and holiday schedules, right? And there's a lot of great use cases for, obviously, Dave called that Lumen the bot after business hours, but even in business hours, right?
Mm.
Or a number of different, any time of day, the receptionist doesn't have to sleep
Yeah.
like we do, and so it lets people focus on what they need to do and assisting them to either sleep or perform those high productivity tasks.
Yeah, it's amazing because Gina, it's not too long ago we used to talk about like the peace of mind for business owners or business leaders that like they could get insights and data into all the calls that they've missed, right? And how people could leave a message and they could get back to them and stuff like that. And that brought peace of mind. Now we're at the next level where they can actually answer those calls even if you're not there. They can get simple questions, and if it requires something a bit more complex, that can be kind of sought after afterwards, right? But some really really good ways to deal with customers. And just to reiterate for people, again, that technology, that's not the future. That is very much today. Like you could have that in your business. Like, okay, today's Tuesday. You could have it by Friday morning if you want, working for you. Like it is that easy to set up. It's that easy to get started. Okay, let's look
One
at some more
thing
AI in action.
before we move on to Joe,
Yeah.
sorry to steal your thunder a little bit, but the I'm sure we've all, as consumers ourselves, right, have spoken to bots before that were
Mm,
really archaic and not helpful, right? But one thing I love about how AI is spearheading the industry right now is it's bringing a lot of other technologies with it and enforcing maturity too. So
mm,
what you heard from Lumen as well is she's got a really natural sounding voice, right? She can speak in a variety of different languages out the box, and it sounds just so much more natural than the bots of the past. And I mean, you still want to tell your customers, your callers, for ethical reasons that they're speaking with a bot, but in some
mm.
cases you could hardly tell at all.
And but as well on that, Gina, like this, like the research is compelling on this as well. Like the end users, consumers, they're more than happy to use artificial intelligence to get the answers to the questions if it speeds up their service, if it's accurate, if it gives them what they need. Particularly simple things like if you're just checking in opening times, have you got something in stock? All those simple things that are just let me check some data, let me give you the answer. They're really easily done, and people are more than happy to use AI for that. Okay, that's around. Let's see, put that into a category, right? That hits a lot of categories. It assists the business because it's helping customers. It can improve your customer experience. It improves the productivity of any humans that are kind of been supported by the AI receptionist, right? Particularly like an actual receptionist that spends now less time with their ear up to a phone, right? Because that can be answered for them. I've seen that firsthand actually benefit automotive industries in the forecourt, where people now meet and greet people with face-to-face contact and get to chat to them because they're not on the phone all the time. That does a huge amount, so definitely boosts productivity. Let's look at the insights that can help with performance as well in AI quality management, right? And this is around
And
looking at performance.
before
So
we Yeah, before we kick off the video too, you can cue that one up, Danielle. But I just want to say too, when you're looking at, maybe it's a little intimidating at first to just stick a bot in front of your customer experience, right? If you're one of those customers who's hesitant to adopt AI, it's totally understandable. We're trying to demystify it for you and make it easy, but it's all about that phased approach and really stepping into it. And so a lot of promising areas is more in that post call, productivity and insights, right? And so as we're playing the QM demo here for quality management and assessing quality management, and it's not just about productivity for the agents, but really that those back office workers too, right? And customers have all sorts of ways of measuring quality in their contact centers and in that customer experience, right? So it's not just about making sure that the agents deliver that quality and consistency, but also helping our back office workers as well. So while we roll this, I can speak through some of the ways that customers were adopting these solutions, right? And uh, today, maybe there are spreadsheets that you manage, or have third-party solutions that again you need to kind of wire up to your business communication solution. But our AI quality management solution really helps bring that productivity lens and the ease of use together.
Here we go. I'm just seeing a big green screen there for a minute. I thought we were going to kind of deliver it. So Gina, this is the quality management in action, right? This is the data. Talk us through what we're looking at here.
Yeah, yep. So first thing you see, everything's aggregated in one view. And also our quality management solution evaluates 100% of calls. Traditionally in the contact center, I mean, 3 to 5% of calls are kind of cherry picked out of queues, and then you have to sit and listen and evaluate and score them and make sure that all of your evaluators are calibrated so that everybody's sort of evaluating in an equal and non-biased way, right? But actually taking the human out of that evaluation experience eliminates the bias, right? So it reduces that huge overhead. You can see the aggregation, but then drill down into details, drill down into a specific agent, look at all the criteria. So our solution initially is built with very out of the box best practices criteria, right? Did the agent greet the caller? Did they use consistent brand experience? And so all of these, the solution scores all of these criteria. You can look at the score easily. If you need to drill down here, you can look into all of the call details, all of that rich metadata, right, which provide the context into the customer experience, but also listen to the recording of the call itself, right? So you can use this for follow-up coaching or encouragement. And then going back into the solution, right, when looking at these evaluations and looking at the scoring, it's also really important when we talk about practical AI, it also needs to be really trustworthy and transparent, right? That's ultimately what's going to give you that return on investment and boost your ability to utilize it even further. So we have built in the need, if you need to adjust a score for any reason, that can be easily done. And then all of the calibration is baked into the solution, right? So it automatically adjusts scores, automatically adjusts that criteria, and it's all right there in one tool.
Okay, great, Gina. That's super to see. And again, we talk about the insights has been a key category of an area where I can help. I think this is a real prime example of that. So super to see that up and running. So I think we're just looking at time here. We're pushing a little bit. I think we'll jump to the other AI optimization video that we have as well. Gina, you can talk us through that.
Sure.
Gives a bit of an insight into what we're seeing and how people are using this.
Yeah, so AI optimization, this was kind of our baby. It's been a little over a year, so I guess it's a toddler now. But one of the first areas we started with are call summaries, right? So this is really, I'd consider low-hanging fruit at this point of AI solutions for customer experience, right? Again, saving that productivity piece. It reduces the handle time for agents or in the duration, because they're no longer having to sit after the call, type up all their notes, get everything input into the CRM. It automatically just flows into the reporting solution and into the CRM. And then one of the things I love, right, since we're freeing up supervisor time, they're no longer having to evaluate calls or do any of that. They can keep their finger on the pulse of their contact center by looking at our supervisor dashboards, right? It gives a view of all of your calls in real time. You can view that sentiment in real time and listen, whisper, or barge into the call if it's needed. And then lastly, all of our topic and sentiment detection is in one place in our reporting solution. So you can drill down into problem areas. You can look at how big of a problem a particular topic is by the size of the bubble relative to volume of your calls. So this easily allows you to tailor, your action, right, in those actionable insights, and then drill down deeper into the details of the call. And topic flags are really for any topics that you are already looking for. So if I'm a lighting company and I've got low inventory and that's being talked about on the calls, I can create a flag for that really easily, right? And then create the necessary follow-up that I need to action on that. So this has been super helpful. Not only do we have the dynamic topic detection for things that you might not know that you're looking for, or things that come up in your business that you wouldn't anticipate, but then the topic flags are also very catered to, what are my callers saying, what are my agents saying, and making sure that there's that script adherence and things are, you're keeping that high level of customer satisfaction.
Okay, excellent. I think my favorite part of that is the topic detection and the sentiment analysis. Gina, I love being able to see that view of how your customers are feeling on any given day in real time. I think that's great because it can allow you to be really proactive as well. You can actually detect things coming in before they become an issue. Because normally it's like you hear a couple of rumblings from a couple of agents, and then like the volume kind of kicks up. You're like, okay, that's the fifth or sixth time we've heard it. We need to address
Yeah.
it. But now you can actually see
And
supervisors who have that
And the
insight.
golden KPI, right? First call resolution. I mean, how many of you've had a problem with your cell phone or anything, and you have to keep calling and calling a business? But this allows us to really deliver a solution that helps aid in that first call resolution.
So,
So
Gina, obviously
yeah.
AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. What's our roadmap looking like, and where do you see kind of technology coming, kind of thick and fast over the next 6, 12 months?
Yeah, so we've really kicked off the year with a bang. It's been an exciting 2025 so far. We released quality management in February, and our new AI receptionist here in April. And I can't even believe it's the beginning of the month. It's felt like a whole month has passed already. But our AI receptionist will continue to grow and evolve, right? So right now, a lot of the focus is on making sure that a customer is able to call in quickly, get the information that they need. But as it evolves, it'll also be able to automate tasks more easily, right? So we've already got a great, strong integrations platform, plugging into other solutions like your CRM or even appointment scheduling is super easy. And we have ways that we can do that with the receptionist, but we make it even more seamless with additional skills and capabilities of those bots. So we'll be adding those. And then improving analysis too, right? Because it's all about the end-to-end experience. And so as you're putting bots, maybe you did, adopt some post-call analysis tools to begin with. And as I said, the AI optimization, it's a toddler now, but it's quickly growing into a child, a teenager. And we want to make sure that it's fed and growing in a healthy way. So we'll be looking at more data points across our UC calls as well, and really playing up that platform solution.
Okay, great. So I suppose the most important thing, Gina, is we don't lose control of it. That's as it gets older, that would be a little bit scary. All right, but I know you guys are doing everything. I think that won't happen. So, okay, guys. So that's pretty much for everybody today. A quick recap. We looked at again. It's hard to get away the importance of AI and where it's been rolled out in businesses and the different kind of use cases you can roll out across your business. We deep dived into the customer experience use cases, and hopefully we took a bit of the kind of the AI away from that. And again, everything you've seen today, this is not big tech. This is not like well, sorry, it is big tech in terms of the innovation, right? But it's not big expensive tech. It's not, you don't need big tech teams to deploy it. This is relatively available for businesses of any sizes that have, that they have solutions like, a UCAS solution in place, or they have a CCAS solution in place, right? They can avail of this relatively easily at low cost as well. So if you want, book a demo today, or even check in with your existing vendors, see what they've got available. They might have it there. Again, if you are looking at this kind of stuff, you could deploy all this in just a day, right? So that's the reality of it. When you're ready to go, you're ready to start, you can be up and running literally within 24 hours, and you can get AI to work. You can start benefiting it from, improved productivity, more assists in the work that you're doing, and better insights to be able to serve those customers better as well. So with that, I think we have a couple of questions come in over the last 30 minutes or so. I think we can address some of them. And if you've still got some questions, please feel free to put them into the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Please continue to flood our questions area with whatever you guys have on top of mind. So I do have already a few that I want to grab and ask you all. First of all, thank you for an amazing presentation. And I'm ready to call Luma and just ask her how her day was, because she seems great to talk to. So first off, the first question I have is, how does AI handle private customer info like call recordings?
Yeah, I'm happy to take this one. So basically, it's easy to use and totally configurable, right? So while all of the customer insights are derived from call transcriptions, we don't actually need recording, and we don't actually need to even keep the transcription to derive things like the summaries or the topics that were mentioned during those calls. Furthermore, we have guardrails in place to make sure that no, personally identifiable information or anything that's sensitive gets surfaced in those AI, insights. So yeah, it's all handled, according to the settings that you have in place. If you're especially hosting in your own S3 bucket or with us, everything is private and contained.
Awesome. Love it. Joe, if you don't have anything to add, I'll hop to the next question.
You can
Awesome.
hop.
Can I change or customize how I use the AI features?
Yes, definitely. So as you saw in the demos, I mean, everything from the way the knowledge that Luma consumes to the topic flags that are set up, everything is fully customizable and really configurable to tailor to your exact business needs. The large language models, yes, they do come with a wealth of knowledge today, but really the value is in unlocking that contextual data that's important to your business. So we make it as easy to use and customizable as possible. And, like we said, a lot of the AI technology is kind of the past, or what I'm kind of calling traditional AI. They relied on a lot of clunky, setup, right? And the time to value for some of those solutions where you had to sit and listen to calls and map the intents of those calls to outcomes. And that's all kind of a thing of the past, right? Those solutions also used to take a good 6 months to a year before value was realized. But with our solutions, I mean, our customers are up and running in a day, and Lumen and other bots, right, are able to handle those customer inquiries right away. So it's customizable, it's easy to use, and it's super easy to adopt.
Love that. Awesome. What type of reporting can AI support in GoTo Connect?
So yeah, I always kind of think of reporting too as, I mean, first of all, it's about surfacing those actionable insights, right? And there's a number of different ways, and stakeholders oftentimes in a business, right, who need that data. So the first thing that we do is make it super easy for anyone to consume the data, whether it be directly in our platform natively. People can get access very easily and do what they need to do inside the tool directly, whether that be through filtering and slicing and dicing. We provide it all. We also provide easy exports and APIs so that you can connect business solutions together if you need. There's things like scheduled reports that can just be sent to an inbox, right? So if someone's sole role in a day is to look at, all of your missed calls from the previous day, they can get that scheduled directly to their inbox and be on their way. So on top of that, you have the complete ability to customize whatever you want in those reports and views, right? If it's the topics, the negative sentiment, other call details like handle time or wait time, that can all be tailored to exactly who needs to see that information.
Awesome. Love it. I love this question. I feel like it's very top of mind for everyone. You always hear stories of data and security with AI tools. So, how safe is my data with using the new AI tools?
Yeah, so I had to kind of fight with Joe a little bit on this one, or we're still in the midst of tumbling this one around. But practical AI is really powerful, but also trust and transparency are key, right? So it's like when creating these taglines for these things, it's like, what's more important? Is it practical? Is it the return on investment? Is it easy to use? Is it trustworthy? Is it transparent? But really, we felt that practicality really captured the essence of a lot of those different aspects, right? So, and as I spoke earlier, it's not just about technology for technology's sake or adopting AI because it's all the hype and it's buzzworthy, but you really have to be careful with trust and transparency, right? We take customer data. I mean, we've been in we have customers across the board, whether it be in automotive or insurance or healthcare. We take customer data very seriously and are sensitive to that. So if you're out and looking at vendors, make sure that you are assessing that in an AI solution. We don't write any customer data back to models. We don't use any third-party models that expose customer data at all. The large language models also don't need a lot of additional context or information, right? That's kind of the beauty. You supplement the context and what you configure and add on to, say, its knowledge. But for the most part, there's really no need to expose customer data that takes away from the value that can be gained from it. So data is safe within GoTo, that is for sure. But because this is such a fast-paced and moving, environment and these new technologies, a little bit of caution I think is good, and just using your best judgment.
Awesome. And this must be top of mind for a lot of people. I think you covered this question, so I'll let you confirm if we've kind of hit it on the head already. But someone else asked, are my customer calls safe with AI?
Yeah, at GoTo for sure. And again, you can configure fully if you want us to store call recordings, if you want to store them. Either way, we are beholden. When we store them, we keep everything safe. We also we don't write anything back to the AI, and call recordings are not necessary for the AI analysis and insights, right? Some solutions do require it. Basically, we derive the insights that we need for your summaries, for your topics, your sentiment and things, and then we throw away what we don't, so we don't further expose you to any risk.
Awesome. And I think that wraps up for our questions, all that we have time for at least. Thank you all for submitting those. Any questions that we've missed, we'll do our best to catch up with you after the webinar. But if you like what you see here, we'd love to have you guys back. On Thursday, we have Revolutionize CX with GoTo Connect and with GoTo Connect AI Receptionist. Sorry about that. There we go. Feel free to scan the QR code. That'll take you directly to our landing page. We also dropped the link in the chat as well, so whatever is easiest. We'd love to see you Thursday. We have 2 more amazing speakers. If you enjoyed Joe and Gina, which you guys were awesome, thank you for that amazing presentation. You will also enjoy Ankita and Devin on Thursday. So we look forward to seeing you again later this week. Any closing words, Joe and Gina?
Just if you like the receptionist, get onto that session on Thursday. Danny, I think it's Ankita and Devin have a lot of kind of great insights to share there, and a lot to see as well from a demonstration standpoint. And just thank you everybody for their time. I always appreciate people taking time out of the day to come and maybe learn from what we got to say. So I really appreciate that. So thank you everybody.
Yes, likewise. It was a great time. Thank you everyone for facilitating and attending, and hope to hear back from you.
Awesome. Thank you both. Great presentation, awesome demos. We hope to see you all Thursday. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah.